everyone, in this tutorial we're going to be learning how to do this. The player changes color depending on the direction it's facing the acceleration. So as you can see here, I have a color palette for each direction and it changes perfectly with right, left, up and down. So if you want to learn how to do this, keep watching. In order to demonstrate how it works, instead of doing animations in each axis, I'm going to just make 4 squares, each one in a different color, representing a different direction. So now I'm going to create an OBJ player, and I'm going to, well, first of all, I'm going to add a variable in variable definitions of 10. And by the way, in the room, in order to see it better, in the creation code I'm going to say room speed equals 60. Now we have 60 FPS in our beautiful room. So we have the speed, and now we're going to add a create event. Here we're going to create the variables we're going to be needing. The X move, it's the X velocity for the player, and it's going to be 0. Then the Y move is the same. The player moving, it's a variable I like to add because it makes things a little bit easier with enemies and that kind of stuff. Yeah, I guess you already know what's about. Player moving, pretty descriptive. And then the player dir, that's going to be 0. The player dir, it's going to work like this. 0, it's going to be equals right. 1, it's going to be equals down. 2, it's going to be equals left. And 3, it's going to be equals up. If you want to make 8 axes or 16 or 32, whatever number you want, this, for example, if you make 8 axes, this one would be 45 degrees, 2 would be up, down, 3 would be, diagonally and that kind of stuff. So, but I'm going to be just with 4 axes because it's easier. Then the step event. Here we want to take the input, and I'm going to make 4 variables. Left, and I'm going to set this first. So left is going to be true when we press keyboard check press, no, check, keyboard check, or A. Okay, now left is negative. If we want to go left, we have to subtract. So we have to put here a minus. But this is important. If you place this minus here randomly, it's not going to work. At least not for me. I have to place here a bracket. I'm not sure why, but it works like this. It's GameMaker. It's a little bit strange. So this is going to be right. Oh my god. Right. And it's going to be with D, and it's going to be positive. Then up is going to be negative, and it's going to be with W. And down, it's positive. And it's with the letter S. Now that we have our input, we're going to set X move equals to left plus down times the speed. Left plus right times the speed. And Y move is going to be the same. Up plus down times the speed. So if left is true, it's going to be 1. The minus is going to make it -1. And right is positive, so if both are pressed, then the speed is 0 in the x-axis. Now to move the player, just add the values and I'm going to give it that and place it in the world and execute it. So you can see it works. So here you can see it works just perfectly. Okay, so we're going back to the step event. I'm going to make it bigger so you can... Okay. Now before we move, we want to check something. The player moving. When is the player moving? When these two values are not 0 at the same time. So in order to do that, we just make an absolute value of the X move plus the absolute value of the Y move not equals 0. Why the absolute value? Because if X move is -1 and Y move is 1, the player's moving, but the sum is 0. So we have to compare the absolute values. So now, if the player is moving, then we want to check the direction it's moving to. In order to do that, we just make the angle arctan 2. Now, be careful with this, because the Y goes before the X. I mean, this. Normally is the opposite way, but as you can see in the description, the arctan 2 takes first the Y-axis, and this is for every programming language. The Y move in the arctan 2 goes first. Now, this gives us a value in radians, so we want to convert to degree because it's easier, and I don't know, I like it. So the player direction now will be equals to round the angle divided by, now pay attention, 360 degrees is a whole turn around, whole circle. Then if we want 4 axes, we want to divide by 90. If we want 8 axes, we want to divide by 45. Here I have 4 axes, so I'm going to divide by 90. And just to show you, I'm going to show the bug message player data. Okay, so let's play it. And as you can see, watch here, if I move right, it's 0. If I move up, -1. If I move left, 2. If I move down, 1. There's one thing that doesn't match what I wrote right here. That, look at this. If I go up, it says -1 instead of 3. That's because the arctan 2 returns a value between -90 and +90. And we don't want that. We just want between 0 and 360. And in order to normalize the angle, we're going to say one thing. If the angle is less than 0, then A plus equals 360. This is the, I'd say, beautiful way to do it, and this is the way I do it. A is less than 0, then A plus 360, oops, else A. So this is the way to do it in one line. First the conditional, then a question mark, then the result if the condition is true, this, and then the result if the condition is false. So yeah, I'm going to leave this here if you are confused. And I don't know, this is pretty much it. You're going to see now it works as I intended. Down, up, left, and right. It works perfectly. Right 0, down is 1, left is 2, up is 3. So, what now? Well, pretty easy. we're going to make a switch to the player dir, and I'm going to say case 0. This is right. Break. Case 1. This is down. Break. Case 2. This is left. Break. Case 3. This is up. Break. Now, important. We have to make a default choice. Why? Because in the diagonal axis, sometimes it's going to make a pretty bad approximation and it will fail, but it's mainly in the right axis. So if you put here right, the right sprite, then it's going to work perfectly. But you have to make a default just in case. It doesn't happen a lot, but it happens, so it's nice to have it. Sprite index equals spr player right. I'm going to copy it. Like that. This is down. This is left. This is up. And this is right. So that's it. If we now play it, you're going to see it works just fine. Okay, pay attention to this color, to these colors right here, so you can follow this. See, it works just fine. This is the right, the left, down, up. It works just fine, and this works pretty well. So thanks for watching. I hope you learned something new. If you have any doubts, please comment them down below. We'll be glad to help, and see you in the next one. Goodbye.